So, good morning everybody, and welcome to our conference, Eco Buildings. I am Stefan Olsson. I'm one of the organizers of this conference, together with the municipality of Växjö and the regional council of Kronoberg. I will just give some background to this conference. This is about a large European project called SESAC, Sustainable Energy Systems in Advanced Cities. This is a program that has been working now for 4.5 years, and the team that has been working together with us here in Växjö is the city of Delft in Holland and the city of Grenoble in France. And the meaning is that this conference, in the first place, was a project meeting. It was only an internal meeting within the project, to discuss experiences and results that have been achieved so far. But after a while, we understood that this could be very interesting for other kind of actors as well. And as you see here today, we are very many from different places in the world here. We have Americans here, we have Africans here, we have Dutch people and French people as well as Swedish people here. So I hope this will be a good possibility for everybody to meet and to discuss and speak about these issues we are going to have as a theme here. That is eco buildings. And when we say eco buildings in SESAC, we mean buildings that use very little amount of energy in comparison with what is business as usual, I should say. With this introduction, I hope you will have an interesting days, I should say. And I welcome on board here now, first of all, our county governor, Kristina Alsér.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody, and I warmly welcome you to Småland, to Kronoberg, and to Växjö, and of course to these days. My name is Kristina Alsér, and since October 2007, I'm the county governor here in this county. It's a pleasure for me to introduce you in the county you are visiting, and in the Swedish strategy to be an active part in climate change. You have arrived in Småland, the kingdom of crystal, furniture and stone, the province of forests and lakes, of stony patches, of tilled ground and red-colored lingonberry tufts. The nature in this part of Sweden has almost everything. You can walk over green moss and collect mushrooms and berries for hours without seeing another human being. And the entrepreneurship in Kronoberg is the best in Scandinavia according to the European Union. They actually nominated this region the leading region of entrepreneurship. There is about one company in every 10 citizens, and the unemployment is, or was before the financial crisis, the lowest in Sweden. The companies in this area are extremely internationally oriented, and if some of the companies dependent on the recession, we see new branches growing: forestry and lamps, tourism and clean tech. As I told you in the introduction, I have been the county governor since October 2007. Before the appointment, I had my own business. Together with my husband, I ran an engineering company in the environmental sector. And when the Swedish government a few years ago founded Sventech, the Swedish Environmental Technology Council, who is commissioned by the government to develop an effective national structure to increase the growth of Swedish cleantech, I come to be the chairman. The cleantech definition is all technology that directly or indirectly contributes to a better environment. Cleantech covers goods, systems, processes and services which provide clear environmental advantages in relation to existing or alternative solutions from a life cycle perspective. And the Swedish cleantech vision is that Sweden plays a driving role and delivers world-leading solutions for a sustainable future. The plan, see if this works, no. And the plan for Sweden includes 4 strategic areas: political control, competence in sustainable development, business models and cooperation. In national terms, Sweden has a high adoption of environmental technology. This is an important factor as to why Sweden has succeeded in decoupling the connection between economic growth and the production of greenhouse gases. So what can be seen is that environmental technology has increasingly become a tool for strengthening Swedish industry and contributing to a reduction in its environmental impact. Cleantech is, as you already know, a growing sector, and total turnover in Sweden of about 114 billion Swedish crowns includes an export of 33 billion crowns. From the statistic, we can also see how the export share of the turnover has developed. Still, we can see that the traditional environmental companies have more part of the export, such as water treatment and companies within air pollution. But we can also see new areas such as wind, solar, and eco-buildings focusing on export. Waste management is by far the biggest area by turnover, followed by bioenergy and wastewater treatments. Important part for fulfilling the climate challenge is our interpretation of district heating and district cooling. The strength here is the use of rest fuel from one industry to be used in another. Several analyses have been done: bioenergy, biofuel, water and wastewater management. And the result from these investigations has resulted in different projects. The investigation from biofuel showed quite and clearly that most of the competence was within the municipalities, and the question is, how can that be transferred to business? But it also showed that the cooperation between the private and the public was a driving force for developing biogas fuel cars and ethanol engines. The unique Swedish strength is our behavior and the availability to raw materials. The raw materials is in this case, of course, the forest, but we also understand the possibility to utilize the waste as new raw material. From tradition, we have been good citizens and implementing laws and regulation quite and quick. Instead of complaining about the problems, we use this as an opportunity. And the knowledge within the municipalities can be used as door openers and as independent ambassadors for the Swedish cleantech business. And Växjö, the greenest city in Europe, is a very good example to be an ambassador for this new branch. To develop the cleantech companies, the public procurement is an important tool. To dare to buy new technology needs support from public financing. A lot of different projects are ongoing to make Swedish system thinking available. Swentech is producing a map where all interesting plants and suppliers can be found. The map will be finished late September. You can choose from whole Sweden and ask for visiting tours in the area you are visiting, and you can be sure to find Växjö and all our interesting projects there. Before I finish my welcome to you, I want to wish you interesting and memorable days with new knowledge and experiences. Once again, warmly welcome to this part of Sweden, which I think is the best part of Sweden. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sara Nilsson, and I work, like Stefan said, at the Regional Council of Southern Småland. And that is one of the co-organizers of this conference today. On behalf of my organization, I would like to, just as a governor, wish you all a very warm welcome to this region of Kronoberg, or as we would like to call it, Southern Småland. We have not a dispute about the name, but we use two different names in our profile. First of all, I would also like to apologize from my chief executive, Mr. Peter Hogla, who was originally in the agenda, and he sends you all his regards, and he's sorry that he couldn't make it here today. As you can see in your agenda and also my picture here, I was asked to make a short speech on regional development, and my aim is to try to put the work that you are doing with eco buildings in the same context as our efforts in this area, and I hope that they will be successful. First, some words about the Regional Council. We are an organization, an authority that works with regional development in this region. We're one of 21 regions in Sweden. And we have an overarching responsibility to initiate and promote decisions and activities that leads to regional development. And we try to focus our activities in three different areas, you could say. First, there's the growth issues, that's business development, entrepreneurship, innovations, and so on. We have the welfare issues, that's social and health issues. And then there's also infrastructure, that's infrastructural planning, railroads, transports, and so on. We're a fairly new organization that was established 2.5 years ago. And we're a member organization with 9 members. That's all of the municipalities in this region and the county council. And the region is politically run, meaning that the political leadership in the region is gathered in this organization. And what they try to do is to gather all the municipalities and the county council and together create one common agenda for the entire region, instead of all of the municipalities working one by one. And in that sense, we are also more of a strategic actor rather than operative. We try to work on a strategic level to initiate, to promote activities, but our task is rather to create this common agenda, and then we have other actors such as the municipalities or the energy agencies or business organizations and so on to perform the concrete activities. So we try to strive towards the same goal, and our vision for this is a good life in Southern Småland. Of course, as you can see, it's a very, very broad vision, and it covers every aspect of life. We have a concrete regional development program, which is currently being revised, and in that we describe how to get to this vision and what actions that need to be done. Not to go into detail, but what could be said in this context is that sustainability is, of course, a very important aspect in this program, and it needs to be taken in consideration in all activities so that we preserve the region for coming generations, of course. I would like to say some words about the challenges that we try to deal with when it comes to regional development. And as you can see on this picture, of course, they're not specific for our region or not even for our country, but this is still something that we have to take into consideration in our work. Of course, first of all, there's the climate change. We all need to contribute to positive change in that area. And what has also been very evident since last autumn, of course, is the recession and the economic problems that has been caused by this. Our region, which is important to know, is very heavily dependent on manufacturing industry. In some of our municipalities, almost half of the labor force is actually employed in manufacturing industry. And of course, when the production goes down, as was the case and as still the case, there is, of course, a very severe effect on the employment, and that is what we are facing right now. So what we need to do, and what's really our main challenge for us, is to make the regional economy more based on innovations, on research, to develop it further into new businesses, new products, new services, and so on. And also, we need to have a more dynamic business life with a broader range of sectors, not just the manufacturing industry, so that we're not so dependent in the future. And of course, in that sense, it's also very important to further promote entrepreneurship and good ideas in every ways. And I think also that these different problems can be seen in the same context, of course, and that's what all regions of the world are struggling with. We need growth, of course, in the region, but without an increased influence on the climate. So we need to find smart solutions in different ways that could contribute to decreased CO2 emissions, but at the same time bring economic development to our region. And I'm going to say some words on how our region is working with that. First of all, there has been newly established a regional climate commission in the framework of the regional council. And that's a way to try to gain a political leadership on a regional level for these issues, which has been lacking before. I would also like to mention that this region has good conditions for renewable energy. Although not at sea, we still have good conditions for wind power, and we have a lot of establishers, a lot of companies that are interested in establishing wind power plants in this region. And of course, this could be a very positive new possibility, for example, for the manufacturing industry. If the production in the automotive industry goes down, then maybe they could find ways to restructure their production into wind power instead. It's just an example, but that could be very positive for us, and that way we try to promote it. I would also like to mention one of the organizers here today, Stefan's organization, the Energy Agency for Southeast Sweden. They're a very important actor when it comes to the energy issues in this region, and they're a forerunner not just in this region but also in Europe. And of course, we're very proud of them and like to promote their work in different ways. I would also like to mention Växjö municipality, which is also one of the organizers and will be speaking after me here and tell more about their work. But of course, as the biggest city by far in this region, they play a very important role to show the other municipalities how to work with these issues. And all of their different initiatives, such as a climate center or the profile of greenest city of Växjö, I think it's very valuable for the entire region, not just the municipality as such. And we try to support that also. We see all of these different actions in these areas as very valuable and important for regional development. We think that new solutions, new innovations can bring an increased knowledge to this region and thereby gives the region an exciting profile and attracts both investments, companies, and people that are interested in this. And we hope that it will arise, that the critical mass will arise, and that there can be a development of new clusters and business networks in this area in the future that could further support this profile for the region. And of course, that could also bring new jobs, which would be very important to cope with the effects of the recession. And it would broaden our labor market very much. And this is all of this said, not to mention, also the effects on the climate. If we could build new products and new knowledge, new services in this region that could be exported to other parts of the world, of course, that would be very positive and a contribution also for the climate change on a more global level. To finalize, I would say something about your area of expertise and the theme that all of this conference is about. Eco-building as a driving force for regional development. And I think that's a very important potential to contribute to regional development, not just in our region, but also in all of your regions. And first of all, of course, it's a very visible project, which means that it strengthens the regional profile because everyone can see it. And also for the citizens, of course, they see it and they hear about energy efficiency and so on, and it creates an awareness that maybe other energy projects could be lacking, because this way it's very, very visible. And it attracts visitors, maybe new inhabitants, but also companies that could be interested in this development. And I also think it's a very good example when it comes to innovations, because there is a link between the academy and the companies that we would like to see also in other areas. So we would really like to stimulate that in the future. Of course, employment opportunities. And also, as an example, the big wooden houses on the other side of the lake, which I'm sure you've seen before or will see in the next few days, they bring a big development to the wooden sector, which is a very important part of our region since we have a lot of forest here. So we see that as very, very positive. And all of this is without even mentioning the effects, of course, on the climate and the energy efficiency and so on. So this way we see it as a driving force for regional development. And I hope that you will learn more during these days and continue to further develop this area as an important contribution to face the challenges that I mentioned before, not only when it comes to climate change, but also as a very important potential when it comes to employment and to deal with the recession. And with that, I'd like to thank you for your attention, and I hope that you will have 3 pleasant and very interesting days in Växjö. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Just 2 things to add to Sara's presentation here. She mentioned this climate commission that is now established here in this county. It's between the county council and the regional council. We have been engaged a little bit in that, and energy efficiency is the key word in that work, and we will continue with that in a very strong way. Another thing you mentioned is the connection with the academy. We can also just say that recently there has been established an organization between companies in the region and the academy here in order to develop the competence and raise awareness about these things, about eco-buildings. And this organization will now speed up its power here and work very hard with these issues. Okay, thank you very much. Now I am very warmly welcome our mayor in Växjö and the coordinator of SESAC, Julia and Bosse. Please.
Thank you so much. Another hearty welcome to all of you, especially our foreign guests here. And we have a delegation from South Africa and also from Savannah, Georgia. Mayor Otis and his delegation, a hearty welcome. I am the mayor. Julia is the coordinator for the SESAC project, and we would like to share your attention for some minutes. You are most welcome to the greenest city in Europe, maybe the greenest city in the world, because 2001 United Nations and some environmental organizations gave us the reward of being the best city in the world for climate protection. So we are very pleased to have you at least in the greenest city in Europe. We were appointed by European media, 2007 as the greenest city in Europe. So Julia and I would would like to welcome you to our city. That's our city. We are not along the coast side, inland city in Sweden, but we have hundreds, thousands of lakes in our surroundings. And our lakes are very important for our environmental history because some of the lakes close to the city center were heavily polluted in the 60s and 70s. So we started a world unique process of restoring polluted lakes. So already in the 60s we got a lot of international attention when we started to restore the polluted lakes. Now all our lakes, we have fresh water, you could swim there, you could eat the fish, you could even fish crayfish. And you know in Sweden, we got really crazy when we eat crayfish. And we also import some crayfish from United States, China, and elsewhere. We can't get enough of them, not even from our lakes. This is how we define the greenest city in Europe. It has to do what we have done in the past and what we would like to do in future when it comes to environmental issues. So the greenest city in Europe, it's about being green, living green. Not only about CO2 emissions and that kind of thing. The only problem we have is sometimes to communicate this message to our citizens. Because when we have to develop new area, maybe to cut some trees, and we have a lot of trees, we have never had so much forest as we have today. It's quite a paradox also in Sweden. We only cut about 75–80% of the annual growth, so we have a lot of forest in Sweden. And when we have to cut some trees, some people in our city are saying, how is it possible to cut trees in the greenest city in Europe? But we have a lot of trees. The problem is that we sometimes lose the open landscape. So, next one. To understand why it's possible to work with almost all kinds of issues at the local level, you must understand that we are maybe the most decentralized country in the world. I complain a lot about the government interfering too much, the parliament interfering, but if I have to be honest, and even politicians have to be honest sometimes, I must admit that we are the most decentralized country in the world. There's so much power at the local level. The self-governance have been in our constitutions for a couple of hundred years. We have a lot of power in economical terms. 30% of the income in Sweden are paid directly to the city income tax. All other taxes, property tax, more income tax if you earn more money, VAT, etc., is federal tax. So there's a lot of power. And we also have a lot of legal structures at the local level. A city in Sweden is more or less responsible for everything except healthcare, police, university, and defense. And we don't have much of defense yet in Sweden, so that's not a problem. So it could be on the municipality or the city also. The city is responsible for a lot of things. So out of a population of 82,000 people, about 7,000 people are employed by the city. But we are free to choose if we want to have services on private contract or if we want to do it ourselves. In our city, we have a mix. So you see, there's a lot of power at the local level. We can even decide at local level how much energy is it possible for a new building to take. We can set the limit, the standard on the local level, and that's quite unique in the world. So we have almost all the tools we need to work for climate protection at the local level. Next one, please. We decided very early in the beginning of the 90s to be the best city in Sweden to deal with environmental issues and some other issues also. We adopted our first program, environmental program. The present program is divided into 3 main areas. Consumption, water, natural resources, energy, and transport. 3 profile areas in our program.
Next.
Yeah. The city budget, which was taken in City Council already in June this year for 2010, have 11 indicators. The indicators it's a way you could measure what's going on in different areas. So the whole city budget is a budget for sustainability. So to put in the climate issue in that context, it's also very important to say that the whole budget is a budget for sustainability. We have indicators for gender, equal opportunities, democracy, integration, etc. And 3 indicators connected to environment: climate, water, and waste. Then we have the number 11. That's a funny thing. I like it. We have adopted it from the United States, from Richard Florida's research about the creative society. We measure how many creative people do we have, bohemians, in our city. And I think you have a lot of them in Savannah. That's why you're so successful. So we measure, and we also measure and compare ourselves, do benchmarking with other cities in Sweden also. So the indicators are very important, and today we are going to talk most about the climate protection. That's another way to describe our indicators. The lake in the middle of the city is sometimes frozen in wintertime, but because of global warming, it's very rare. But every other winter, you could do some ice skating on the surface of the water. Greenhouse effect, that's what we're talking about today. This graph shows how it really is. Problems, possibilities, how much do you emit in different parts of the world? Australia, United States, Canada. Why shouldn't each citizen in each country have the same right or opportunity to emit as much as they do in Australia, United States, and Canada? Is it fair that countries like Sweden, we already emit not so much, and we have a very tough program to be even better? You see here that Sweden emits about 7 ton per capita CO2 emissions per year. And in our city, Växjö, it's only 3.5 ton. And that's very, very good. And you will have a lot of opportunities during these days here to discuss why it has been possible to cut our emissions so much as we have. Sometimes it could be interesting to notice that it was a Swede who found out the greenhouse effect. But he thought it was good for farming because we need a warmer climate in Sweden to have a better farming. But he later got the Nobel Prize in chemistry. We took a decision in 1996, which was quite unique for that time, to be maybe the first city in the world to be free from fossil fuels. And we took set a very ambitious target to cut our emissions with 50% until 2010 and 70% to 2025. And what have we achieved so far? 35% cut, 2 decades. So what people are discussing now in the United States and in Europe, European Union, it's almost nothing compared to what we have done. So we are the living proof of almost everything is possible. Almost everything is possible. As you can see here on this graph also, we still have to deal with the problems from emissions from transport, but not from heating. And we have moved away from the oil-based economy to the biomass economy when we talk about heating. I don't know if we have this graph here today, which shows that 55% of all consumed energy comes from renewable in the municipality. And that's I think, quite unique in the world. We still have to deal with transports. And to show you our responsibility, the first picture which you saw here, I was driving an environmental car, Julia was biking. That could be also a matter of gender equal opportunities. Why do females have to bike and why do men drive car? Yeah. Let's discuss that issue some other times. But it's there. It's a gender issue in every subject you discuss. Some projects, parking fee in relation to CO2 emissions. Since many years back, environmental cars park free in the city and also in other cities. We discuss how to coordinate different deliveries to the municipality, but also to shops, to the city center. We try to encourage more people and more companies to buy environmental cars. About 30–40% of all cars being sold in Sweden today are environmental cars. That's quite a lot. The Swedish definition of an environmental car, it is a car which emits less than 120 gram CO2 emission per kilometer. So there are hundreds of cars already which fit into this definition. Low consumption cars, all kinds of cars, hybrids, electrical cars, and ethanol cars. So it's really possible to buy an environmental car in Sweden. We try to develop infrastructure for public transports, for bicycles. We try to use our bikes a lot. Holland and Denmark are ahead of us. I saw some statistics some years ago that in Holland there are 4.1 bicycles per citizen. In Sweden it's more than one. And the most common crime in Sweden is stealing a bicycle. No one reports it anymore because the police can't deal with that kind of issue. Next generation vehicle fuel. We are heavily involved in research for new fuels. That is also important. Parking fee, major public transports. We have a lot of projects and they are related to transports because transports are very crucial for the possibility to cut our emissions. On the national and international arena, there's only one possible fast way, and that is to increase the CO2 tax. The CO2 tax is too low in all countries in the world. If you increase the CO2 tax, you get opportunities for renewables. And you also start a new business life, new business opportunities. So I think CO2 tax are very important to increase the CO2 tax and have less tax on all kinds of renewables. Next one, please. This picture is also very interesting. It shows that we have cut our emissions very much. We have saved energy. At the same time, the local economy has increased more than the average in Sweden. So it's possible to save energy, to rely on renewables, and also increase your local economy. Many people abroad think it's almost possible. What will happen to our economy if we can't use oil? If we increase CO2 tax? Nothing happens. The economy grows even better. Now we would like to move over to the SESAC project. SESAC project is one international project. Yeah.
My turn.
Your turn, yeah. One of many projects, international projects we are heavily involved in. Yeah. So please show me, lady, how to handle this thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Or actually, I can do it because now I know how to.
You can do it.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't need any extra help. So please.
So please.
Okay.
You can just relax, but you can stay. Yeah. Okay. Hello, everybody. I'm going to talk about two interesting projects. At least they are interesting for me. The municipality, the city of Växjö, is part of two projects. One is SESAC, where I am the coordinator, and the next is not started yet, but hopefully we can start it project. We wait for that one. Okay, SESAC. SESAC is a part of something called Concerto, and Concerto is an umbrella project for 45 active communities around Europe. Everybody gets subsidy from the Commission, European Commission, and the aim is for all these cities to build energy efficient and to use renewable energy. And if you are interested to read about the other cities, you can get a blue booklet over there at the registration table. And before I tell you more about SESAC, I think the participants from the project, please rise so we all can see who you are. We have some here, yeah. You're very welcome. And here are our experts. I'm not the expert, I'm just the coordinator. But if you want to know exactly technical details, please ask. SESAC aims to enhance the role of sustainable local energy management. It aims to promote energy and cost-efficient eco-buildings. It aims to increase the local share of integration of renewable energy sources and ensure widespread dissemination and training using local case studies and guidelines, and also to exchange experiences and expertise, transferring know-how to workshops and study tours, and this seminar today. And we get around 10 million euro from the European Commission. The duration is 72 months, so 6 years, and we are 19 partners from several countries in Europe. And here you can see the partners. We have advanced cities, 3 advanced cities. We have Växjö in Sweden, Delft in the Netherlands, and also Grenoble. Then we have 3 associated partners. They are there for listening and learning. We have 2 associations of local authorities and energy cities and ECLA. They are mainly working with dissemination, and 2 technical partners. Energy Agency, Southeast Sweden with Stefan, and Royal Institute of Technology, in Swedish KTH, Stockholm, and we have Thomas here today. This is a very short presentation of SESAC, and all technical results you will hear during these days. And now I want to tell you something about a new project. And you have already heard the word from Sara, and I saw on Bo's slide that he also mentioned this one, a climate center in Växjö. And we are in the starting blocks, ready to start run. We want to make this, create this, and we want to start with the core. A collaboration between the municipality and the industry as a joint venture. The reason for this is to have a possibility to disseminate, to spread our knowledge, the knowledge of this region around the rest of the world. When we have the core, we add with a meeting point. We think it's important to have a symbol for this climate center, to have a building, of course an eco-building, where we can come together. And the next step is to have the showroom, a place for the public to come and see an exhibition, to come and ask questions to consumer advisors, to organize technical visits, technical training. And finally, we hope that more industries, institutions, experts want to come together in this climate center. And when we have filled this hole, I think, and I hope we all can see this, that we are an important part to make a better world.
Thank you so much for your attention.
Yeah, and here, please see who has the bike, and who has the car.
Well, that's about equal opportunities.
Yeah.
We have, as a nice surprise of this very special day, another picture. Could we have, please, the last one?
Sure.
This one?
Yeah.
As the former president of the local Beatles club in Växjö, I would like to announce that today all Beatles CDs are available all around the world in the remastered versions. And they start to sell this whole survival kit of Beatles today all around the world. So you're free to do some shopping also. And I like this quote from Beatles especially. So thank you once more for your attention.
very much. Do we have any questions here? We are a little bit ahead of schedule. We have time for 1 or 2 questions. Somebody? I can, while you're thinking a little, I can add that in SESAC, also Bo is one of the actors in SESAC, because this project is specific in many ways, but one way is that all the way from the political level down to the carpenter is involved in this project, as well as a broad many of technologies is involved. Not only it's a big project also in that sense. What about taxes, carbon dioxide taxes? Is that a final solution for our climate change? Somebody? Nobody? Okay, then we have the answer, is to raise the carbon dioxide taxes. We have them in Sweden since 1993, I think. 91, maybe, yeah. And it has for sure been helping the development in our country. Okay. Thank you very much again, Bo and Julia. And we are in the program at a break, a short break. Oh, there's a question, yes?
A question for how are you measuring when you're tracking your results? How are you measuring the effect?
Well, it's easy done because Sweden, I think, is a homeland of statistics. We measure every year how much fossil energy being sold in the city, and in the municipality, and we have statistics from all other cities in Sweden, and we measure once a year. And then it's also neutral because of the fact that the population is increasing in our city.
One more question on carbon tax. Would Sweden and would the city have progressed this far if there had been no carbon?
No way.
And he's a conservative politician.
I don't like taxes, but I like taxes on CO2 emissions because they are important, extremely important to make a change. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you very much. This is for sure being a very strong driving force in Sweden. Okay, thank you very much. It's time for a break.